This is question 20 on the January 2017 Common Core Algebra 1 Regents. And this is a data analysis question. So what we have is we have a survey on sports participation, and Noah created the following two dot plots to represent the number of students participating by age in soccer and basketball. So what each dot represents is a singular person who participated, or a singular student who participates in this sport. So if we look, this means that 3 people participate in soccer who are 6 years old, 4 people who participate in soccer are 7 years old, 2 who are 8 years old, 2 who are 9, 3 who are 10, 2 who are 11, and 2 who are 12. And for basketball, we have 1 6-year-old, 1 7-year-old, 2 8-year-olds, 3 9-year-olds, 3 10-year-olds, 3 11-year-olds, 4 11-year-olds, and 4 12-year-olds. So now the question says, which statement about the given data sets is correct? And the first answer choice is the data for soccer players are skewed right. Well, this isn't really skewed. When we think of skewed, we're talking about finding a bunch of points here, with some frequency here, and then just having like 1 or 2 extreme outliers. So if we were to draw that as a curve, it would look like something like this. We would have a lot of values here, and then just some extreme values here. So when we see the word skewed, that means that there's an outlier in the direction of the skew. And there really aren't any outliers here. Like if we look at a graph like this, that means there's an outlier or two way over here, way outside of where we would expect the values to lie. So number 1 is not correct. The data for soccer players have less spread than the data for basketball players. Less spread, we can think of that as the range in this particular case. And the range is the minimum value to the maximum value, or maximum value minus the minimum value. And in this case, it's 12 minus 6 for both of them, so they are the same. Number 3, the data for basketball players have the same median as the data for soccer players. And then number 4 says the data for basketball players have a greater mean than the data for soccer players. Now, the median is the middle value, and the mean is the average. Now we can actually go ahead here and list all the values if we really want. We could list 6 3 times, and then 7 4 times, and then 8 twice, and then 9 twice, and then 10 3 times, 11 twice, and 12 twice. And that's for soccer. And then for basketball, let's do that in green. We'll do 6 once, 7 once, 8 twice, 9 3 times, 10 3 times, 11 4 times, and 12 4 times. And you could actually do the median and the average for this if you want. But if we look at the general trend of the data, it would certainly look like the basketball players tend to be on the older side, whereas the soccer players tend to be on the younger side. Okay? So if we have that, well, then answer 4 makes a lot more sense. The data for basketball players have a greater mean than the data for soccer players. Yeah, and again, we could actually compute all of this, or we could put it in a calculator and have the calculator compute it for us. But if you just look at the general trend, most of the basketball players are older. So certainly if we take the average of these numbers as opposed to these numbers, we should get a higher value. It wouldn't make sense any other way. So that's kind of a simplistic way to look at it, but it's sometimes simpler is better. And in this case, it'll save you a tremendous amount of time. So keep this one simple, and the answer is choice 4.